Let the dragon consume you! Enemy sighted. Stop the payload! Stop the payload! In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Birdwatcher's back at it one more time. Here's your host, Ryan and Clay. They're about to bring you some sweet Overwatch action.
All right, welcome back. And it's been a little while, hasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, it's been a bit, man. I guess we've been taking a little break.
Yeah, a little hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we apologize for that. We took a couple weeks off, vacation.
Yeah.
Just hung about. I've been getting crushed on ladder for the last 2 or 3 weeks, it feels like. It's been a rough, competitive season so far. Yeah.
I've been actually playing a lot more quick play lately.
I don't blame you.
Just kind of keeping it casual, trying to get better at certain characters, focusing on my Ana more.
Yeah.
My 76 as well, trying to get that up for the the changes that are coming through.
Sure.
The hit scan stuff. That kind of stuff. Just messing around, trying to get better by myself before I try to bring it back to comp.
Okay. That's reasonable.
Because there's so much goats.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll talk about that at some point, how we feel about the notorious Ghost comp. But we do have some news before we get to any of our games today. I think we're going to kick it off. Halloween coming up. One of my favorite events. I don't know about you.
When does that start?
9th. We got 2 days.
Oh, man. Shit.
Got 2 days, and I think it goes until the 30th. So you got almost a whole month to get the new skins that we've seen. We've seen a few so far. Pretty sweet so far. Yeah.
Yeah, check those out.
Yeah.
The problem, though, is I think I mentioned this on a previous episode, is compared to last year's events, it seems like they're releasing more skins for these iterations of the events. And because you can also get the old version skins as well, it creates almost this endless uphill battle to try to get all your skins.
Yeah, try to get them all.
In a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, because if you do not buy boxes, you've got to grind a ton of arena, a ton of events. Yeah.
So
yeah,
even
I
if you
can
do buy,
imagine.
that's what I noticed is when I was grinding, and then at the end I was buying boxes, and I still couldn't
get them all.
Everything I wanted. Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, I think when I was trying to keep up with it, you almost have to buy $60 worth of boxes to get everything and have a little bit of loose change, token wise, just to get them all. So, yeah, you gotta play for years, man. Get them all. But you're right. If they keep introducing new skins, it's gonna be tough to get them all.
And I wonder what kind of Junkenstein event they're gonna do this year.
They're doing Junkenstein. I don't know if they mentioned there will be a bride of Junkenstein. That's what Jeff Kaplan mentioned in his developer update. We got some other stuff in the developer update, but we'll get to that in a second. Overwatch League news. We've got some leaks. Nothing definitive yet. It's kind of hard to go by the word of some of these people. I like official announcements, but we do have some official announcements, so we'll get into those.
Okay.
We do know that Janice is going to Washington.
Yeah, we figured he would get picked up fairly quickly.
Yep. And then as far as our parent team, we do have a leak where Soon is going to be making the team from Valiant. And then Danye, Nico, I didn't hear this guy.
Yeah, it's Nico GDH, I think is pronounced.
Okay.
And then Finesse?
Yeah, I was going to say Finzi. Sure.
Yeah, Finzi. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, and
RCK,
yep.
Cloudy, Ben Beast, which, he's kind of overdue.
Yeah.
That man's Ryan is insane. Cruz, we know him as the Lucio main, and then Hype.
Yeah. Is this a all French squad right here?
Yeah, this is actually the Team France right now.
Yeah, I recognized Nico, obviously Cruz, and Ben Best. Yeah, this will be sweet because obviously, from what we saw in the last couple of weeks, pretty dominant. And I know they had mentioned they wanted to keep their team primarily European, so this is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool to get to see them all be French.
Kind of opposite to what Atlanta's doing. We don't have all of it here, but we do know that they're going for more of a mixed combination. I'm waiting for the official.
Yeah.
leak of that stuff. That's more kind of confirmed because a lot of stuff has been either debunked or whatever. And then whenever it comes to Fran, it's always random. So, but that kind of leads us into, streamer news where we wanted to talk about, I think it's pronounced Michael, right?
Correct, yes.
Spelled Mykl, who's kind of come out as used to playing Contenders, and now it's come out as, he's the leak guy. He's the source of hype that a lot of this news is coming through as we wait for next year. And it's been kind of hit or miss. It's at first, people were just happy to have the news in the down period when the first couple stages of Worlds was taking a good bit to go through. And now it's kind of a case where people are saying, well, he has a lot of misses these days, so it's kind of up in the air. You don't know what's concrete, what's not. So I don't know. It's one of those things where sources are important. Right. And we don't want to end up in a situation where all hype is generated on rumors, especially when they're coming from a semi-official source.
Sure. I guess it's cool that we're getting a little bit of hype during this off season, but some of it being right, some of it being wrong. It's kind of hard to, pinpoint the correct answer, right? Yeah. But it's cool to watch his video and he does them live on stream, and you're like, whoa, cool. This is something that would be awesome if we did get to see DeFran go to Atlanta and stuff like that. But who knows if it's all true? So on the docket, as far as news, PTR. We got a big patch on the PTR.
Giant patch.
Yeah. And the biggest hit we're seeing is a big change to Torbjorn, which...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I hate seeing these guys in my games.
I've seen the clips.
Yeah, he's getting changed quite a bit, actually. We'll go through the small stuff real quick, not with him, and then we'll go through his big thing. Farrah gets changed quite a bit. Her concussion blast is down from 12 to 9 seconds. She's a little bit more divey. Yeah, she doesn't do as much splash damage. She's more... her projectile speed is up by quite a bit, but she doesn't do the splash damage like she used to. So I played her a few times on the PTR. Sometimes it feels good. Sometimes it's so inconsistent. You got to hit so many rockets compared to like you used to. So I don't know. We'll see.
And we've seen a lot of teams playing around with the Farah dive composition to prepare for this as well.
Right. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We're actually going to see this. Oh, sorry. We're actually going to see this in the Australia-China game. We're going to see a lot of this Farah dive attempts.
Yeah. Even pre-PTR, they play a lot of Farah. The Farah Mercy still is a big part of their game. Orissa's fusion driver spread reduced from 1.5 to 1.2, so she's going to be a little bit tighter on the gun. Soldier's heavy pulse rifle, his spread also decreased. And this one actually feels a little bit more high impact than I think people realize. He does a lot more, consistent damage. So be interested to see him come back in the meta. We haven't seen him in a while. Just due to, he just doesn't do the job that Widow and Hanzo does. Just that consistent one-shot damage is kind of what we're looking for right now. So
yeah, it's gonna be a big change.
Yeah,
bring him back into the meta.
But Torbjorn, have you got to? You haven't got to play this guy yet, have you?
No.
I played him a few times. His rivet gun, I think, got the biggest upgrade. He feels very scary. I don't know about you. When Torbjorn got close to you, you're like, man, this guy sometimes has a lot of HP. He can knock you down. Even more so now on the PTR, man. He is a little scary bugger. His only downside, it seems like, is he's got a huge head. And they didn't reduce his head side. So he's still got a big head, big hitbox. Still kind of hard to kill. He doesn't have the armor packs like he used to. But he does have what is almost like a mini molten core where it's on I want to say a 12-second cooldown after it finishes. So it increases his armor, increases his speed, his fire rate. So a little bit harder to kill. Yeah. So he also can deploy his turret. It's almost like a projectile. It doesn't go very far, but he can put it in spots that he did not, couldn't climb to or get to in the past. And it starts at level 2. Instead of beating on it from level 1 to level 2, just goes to level 2, which is pretty cool.
It's definitely more streamlined then, because that was the problem with Torb in general, is that it felt like yeah, he's a builder class, and he's supposed to invest in his ability to be viable. But that time doesn't exist in game time, right? Like as you're playing, that's
right.
It's not fast enough, and they never adjust it to a way it could be viable. So this makes him more useful immediately, right? But still keeps his defender. Because I don't see people. I mean, you're gonna see people obviously trying this on offense and some wacky stuff. But it does seem a case where he's now a viable pick for defensive options.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely, because you can get his turret moving around instead of just pinpointing in one spot or having to, devote a shield to it. A lot of people try to do that, which, once you bust through that shield and get on the turret, it's really hard for him to get it up to level 2. His last big thing, his new molten core, which is it's these molten globs almost where he can shoot them on the ground.
Yeah.
It's channeled for a second. It seems like it's not quite channeled. You can't stop it, but does a ton of damage against armor. So, characters like Brigitte, Brogan will get melted under this thing. So it's pretty cool to see that kind of thing going on.
Yeah, and on the competitive Overwatch Reddit, join if you haven't. They have been talking about how important it is because it's the first armor shredding ability in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because we do have abilities like the EMP stuff, the hacking stuff that deals with shields, right? So that's cool to see. And then we also have Symmetra now who can eat shields as well. Use it to recharge her weapon. So this is another new thing introduced, which adds another level of complexity to the game, right? So it's cool to see how this develops, what people do with it, who becomes the Torb guy. Everybody's obviously yelling for Jake because of his
to switch over to that. Yeah,
exactly.
Fair enough.
But
I think he was one of the only people to play Torbjorn in season 1 of Overwatch League, right?
Yeah, he ended with the most time on Torb, I believe.
Had to be Jake. Which kind of brings us into our meta talk this week. And what do you think about GOATs right now? As just we're viewers here, not players of the game.
Okay,
let's just talk about how we watch the game. Yeah.
GOATs, I like it on one hand. It's weird because I feel like if the broken piece of GOATs is the part that I think takes away the finesse of a concept of, hey, here's a lot of health you have to deal with. Everything's close together, and they're working in unison. They complement each other. But because Brogan allows for so much leeway as far as mistakes and kind of makes up for any faults of the player itself, I think that's what kind of makes it feel not too great to play against.
Yeah.
And then it feels like you're forced to go far, right? To try to just rain down bullets.
Yep.
So it's almost just like, hey, let's keep throwing darts at this dartboard until we knock it down.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, here's a strategy to take care of this outside of somber hacking and stuff like that. So I think my opinion of GOATs is the problem is it causes too much. The response has to be too specific and specialized, right?
Yeah.
Like we're seeing a lot more Sombra now to deal with it. But Sombra's one of those characters that you can't. It's very hard to say, hey, here's a comp that you have to pick Sombra to deal with.
Right.
How many of those players are going to find on ladder and stuff like that? And how do you adjust after you deal with it to then be more viable for if they just switch to something else? And I get you're supposed to rotate as far as adjusting to your opponent adjusting to you and keeping that cycle, but it's a little much.
Yeah.
And it's wearing because everybody's doing it because it's easy to play.
Yeah. Easy to play. I think as a viewer, it's if we have a year of this, I would be surprised to get anybody to watch Overwatch.
Yeah.
I think it's that drastic. It is. I was watching the France UK game, and the first 3 maps, they're good games, and obviously playing a lot of Overwatch, I can see the subtle mistakes that are being made.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you get your edge when you're playing GOATs, but from a normal person watching these games, maybe doesn't play competitive or plays pretty casually, it's very hard to see where the mistakes are being made. Why is one team winning? It just looks like a lot of information just colliding into each other. We can tell when a Widowmaker gets a pick or a Hanzo gets a pick, when a team will push on to them and take advantage of that pick. Even a McCree or a Junkrat or a Pharah, these guys are getting picks. It is so hard to tell where incremental advantage is coming from when these two compositions are running against each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I'm happy you brought that up because I think we're going to get a big patch at some point that's UI driven, because a lot of the commentary and discussions that have been happening on the forums is, hey, how do we make the league more accessible to, or watching the league more accessible to the standard casual viewer? And part of that is, like you said, representing that information, because we can see, especially doing the show, or going on, this is episode 26, doing the show for so long, and then watching it and being competitive players, we can see things, right? Like you said, we see things that get us hyped. We see things that we're like, oh no, this is about to break down. Where the casual viewer is just like, wait, what's going on, kind of thing.
Yeah, why did this team lose?
Exactly.
Or why did this team lose this fight versus what? Yeah,
outside of your big ultimate 4Ks and stuff like that, your Diva Bombs, your Shatters. So we have the big plays, the exciting stuff, but we also need to be able to make sure that the minute information is being, or the minutia is being represented properly as well.
Yep.
And I think they'll get to it. I hope they do something. If we get into next season and they don't have any update, because you remember when they changed like kill feed and how that works and stuff like that, how it represents, that was a step forward, but they still need to keep taking steps in that direction. And I hope they don't think that they're in a great place yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Detriment.
I definitely, I don't know, man. This Goats meta is it's been rough. Just watching it and playing it, it's miserable. So we will see. I don't get to see cool characters like McCree and Widow. You still see them, every once in a while. But when it's a bunch of HP running at a bunch of HP, it's rough. So. How about we get to some games? Do we want to talk about records going into this, or do we want to get to that at the very end?
We'll do it at the end. So as we mentioned, in our last two group stage episodes, so first of all, we're going to be doing the Thailand stage, correct?
No. The Thailand stage and the France stage.
And the France stage for this episode. So we're combining them because we're pretty much finished and we're waiting for BlizzCon to happen. So we're going to do those two here. And then at the end, we're going to go through all of the groups and kind of just tell you where it broke down 1 through 6 as far as where people fell.
Yeah.
Since we haven't mentioned that in previous episodes. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick it off in Thailand, which I had a favorite going into this, and it was Australia. Got some friends in Australia.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Friends in Australia, and just, I don't know. It was.
Have you ever been?
I have been, yeah. I lived there for 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
So this was early 2006. It was much before Overwatch. So yeah. So I am definitely a big fan, and I was a big fan last year. I got a jersey, so I'm pretty stoked to see them battle it out and make it up there. So
if I was to visit Australia, where would you recommend I go outside of Sydney?
I lived in Melbourne. That's really the only place that I went. I was in Sydney for a few days, but Melbourne was amazing. Public transit's beautiful. The inner city is amazing. I mean, it's just all around just a cool town. Yeah.
Cool.
But some of the best coffee I've ever had too. Man, the local coffee shops, insane. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so we are going to be talking about China and Australia, which was our last match of the weekend. No, it was not. It was our second to last match of the weekend.
Yeah.
But both these teams poised to be up top, in the top two. China already locked for a spot at BlizzCon, and Australia needed to win one game going into this.
Yeah.
So if they did not win one game, Denmark still had a small chance to get in that top two spot. What we know about the Chinese team, largely they are from the LGD contenders team.
Yeah.
They have some other guys that played with T1W Esports, a couple unknowns from my book, and then Australia largely, besides Custa, we don't know a lot of these guys from really anything else except for contenders, Blank Esports, and then the Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah.
But we did see Custa, one of the Overwatch League guys, play. I think he is the only Overwatch League player in this match.
Gunba is also on the team, but he was, I think, just a captain.
Yes, captain. He's a coach from LA, correct?
Yeah, coach, yeah, exactly. So he's the LA coach, so if you want to count coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like I said, Australia only needs one map to make it in there, and the Chinese team is locked. So we kick it off on Nepal, Sanctum, which I like getting into control first. You kind of see where both teams are, composition-wise, what are they both going to be running? Because, we saw Goats from our other matches a ton, just right off the bat, all 3 maps. This one's a little bit different. Get a kind of a shade of what the team's going for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sanctum, China give it up pretty early to Pharah. They're running a Junkrat. They're pretty hard stuck on this Junkrat. And they get a rip tire. They wipe Australia, and they just never give the map away.
Yeah.
They go up, push up real far, and just never let them get through those doors, giving Chinese Sanctum. So.
Yeah, that first round.
Yeah.
On that map, Sky's Widow, man. I'm not familiar with many of the Chinese players.
Yeah.
But definitely out of the 2 teams, I was more familiar with Australia, like Huss and Custa,
yeah,
etc.
absolutely.
Trill. I've watched Trill a bit. But it's one of those things where China, I was like, okay, this is all new to me. And these guys were just insane from the get-go.
Yeah.
They were ruthless.
Yeah, I guarantee we'll see some of these guys, too, in our first season. 4 Chinese teams, some of these guys are playing.
Especially the one guy you mentioned from T1, Crystal. Oh, my goodness. We'll get to that.
Yeah, he's insane.
That man.
Map 2. This is the... God, I want to say it's the bridge map. I forgot to write this down. Yeah, Village. Mm-hmm. Australia sniffs out the goats from China pretty quick. They have a Junkrat and a Pharah to battle it against, and Chinese team do make a quick switch at the very end to McCree to try to ballot it out. Not quite enough. The Winston's already poised and ready, but on map 3 is really where we get to see, and this is, I think, some of the best, and I've talked about this in the past. Playing a McCree takes a lot of dedication, and China put a lot of dedication into it. On map 3, they do everything in their power to support him, and it shows, man. They put a brig right next to him, unable to dive him the whole time. They take the last map 99-0, so just giving nothing to the Australians.
Yeah, you mentioned McCree. McCree in China has always been meta.
Yeah.
Regardless of the changes that have gone on over the past couple months, every patch that comes out, they stay committed to it and practicing it, and you see it on ladder there. So definitely not. When they pull out McCree, it's something serious is about to happen.
Absolutely.
Another thing we get to see here, like we spoke about in the earlier pregame stuff, is that they do sniff out goats here, and the reason Australia was able to win was on the back of Huss's Sombra, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
Because they do have a player who is a Sombra specialist, one of the best.
Yeah.
And we do get to see him do so. He plays Sombra so oppressively, it feels like you're just playing against a Tracer. The way he moves, the way he manipulates, the way he predicts how they're going to respond and stuff like that. So it's very impressive here. And it is kind of foresight into we're going to be seeing more Sombra play in future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. At this point, Australia's got to be sweating it, right? You just need one.
Yeah, man. We just need
one game. That's the hardest part, right? Just breaking the seal.
Exactly.
But yeah, we get into King's Row. We
Good
see the Chinese start off on... Yeah, Chinese start us off on attack. Man, and Australia does make them suffer on point 1. This Widow Junkrat composition, and we see that a lot on Anubis, and we see it all weekend long pretty much, and the next weekend as well. I mean, we see it pretty much on Anubis strictly. We see it on King's Row here, and it holds them to about 30 seconds. They cannot do anything. Past that, though, just largely uncontested in the streets, just going into the final point where it looks like they're about to get the final point. Huss, who we just mentioned, has an EMP ready to go. This is coming down the hill. Looks like he's about to pop off. Gets picked, but in that, I guess, excitement, China gets off the point in overtime.
Yeah.
Just classic C9 there, yeah. Gets off the point. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, Australia has a chance here. They looked really good on point 1. Let's see them back it up, run it through the map.
Yeah.
Miserable Australian attack here. They failed the notorious Nanoblade, which so many teams before them have failed the notorious Nanoblade.
Yeah.
They finally switch over to a Pharah, which China's not quite ready for it. Bust out the Pharah, get in there, get some splash damage. And they do get point 1, but just stopped in point 2. Just cannot figure out how to coordinate the dive and the EMP. It's either they're diving in, the EMP's not quite ready, or the EMP comes a little bit early and they can't follow up on it. So just a little bit of communication issues. It looked like on point 2. So
yeah, and here, a lot of this map felt like Australia was relying too much on Huss, because on the Chinese attack, the only reason China broke through is because once they were able to stop Huss from destroying them on Widow, once they killed him at the beginning of the fight, that was the fight that led to them taking it.
Yeah.
And then even on Australian attack, unless Huss was alive, there was even a point where he was kind of trying to back cap and do all these things to get China's attention back on him. And once they took care of him, then they just go back to dealing with the rest of the Australian team. So there was a lot of dependence on him, and I think a lot on his shoulders, and he couldn't carry it here.
Yeah,
China's
absolutely.
Too good for that.
Yep. They look amazing this whole weekend, man. Insane. I'm excited to see him at BlizzCon. But so up 2 maps for China. We get into Temple of Anubis, one of my personal faves. Your personal faves too, I'm sure, Ryan.
Oh yeah. We love
beautiful archway that stops
only really
every
need
team.
one map. You don't need all these extra stuff. It's kind of distracting. It should be like a MOBA, right, where it always just loads you onto Temple
of Anubis. Point 2, just point 2. Yeah. But you have to start at point 1 spawn.
Have you had that nightmare? Is that like something you woke up in a cold sweat?
Every night. Every night I think about that. It's terrible. But so we get Australia starting us off on attack.
And we do have Crystal coming in for Shy here.
Yes, we do. Which I was getting confused because they both play McCree hit scan.
Yes.
So I was like, I couldn't remember who came out and who left. But yeah,
Crystal, because he came in, but then Crystal is known as the Genji Doom specialist.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Sweet. But after being dove over and over in spawn, Australia finally they found that Q button on their keyboard. And took point 1. And we almost got a steamroll onto point 2. China does limit them to 2 ticks, and this seems like a really long, long drawn-out fight on point 2, where they're committing some ults to it, but a couple guys from Australia are down, and they're not sure if they should step back. But China does limit them to 2 ticks. And at one point, Doomfist comes out, and this was from Crystal, and he just punches in, gets a kill every single time. Even if he dies at some point, it's almost just like a cannon, like a glass cannon. That's another person I really hate right now is Doomfist on ladder. And not to stray away from anything, man.
He's dangerous on the lower ladder too, trust me.
Oh, I'm sure. He hops in on those Annas and those Zenyatas. Cannot be stopped. But back to Anubis. So they are limited to 2 ticks. And Australia makes it to BlizzCon, just right here, just this 0.1 hold, which is insane. We get to see the Junk, the Widow, the Brig, the Orisa, the Diva, and the Anna. And Brig, I don't ever think comes off the high ground. Just sits next to the Anna the entire time, right there on that top right-hand corner if you're going into Anubis. It's a great spot. A lot of Brigs would never think about, just protecting one thing. You see a lot of Brigs on ladder. They're swinging the hammer that whole time.
Yeah.
On the front line. And just made it impossible to dive the Anna, and China a little bit stubborn. Just they want to run the dive, they want to get the Genji blade. Just cannot do anything about that Brig.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out here is that Punk and Trill, the 2 tanks, I think, Punk is a flex, but he's playing tank here, and those 2 guys, the way they cleaned up kills was like they got every call out that had to happen. Like they're like, hey, this person's won, this person's won, this person's won, and they were there and they were cleaning it up. I think this is probably the most managed game I've seen Australia play, where they were on point. They knew exactly what they were doing, and the game was completely in their control, no matter how hectic it got, like you mentioned.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, Australia did make it to BlizzCon right here on this map win. So they're pretty stoked on this one. It feels like a little bit of a change of pace, especially going into Rialto. There, that weight kind of gets lifted off your shoulder. You're like, all right, now we're just playing for, I guess, money and standings.
Yeah.
Except, I think at this point there's no way they could pass China. So it's just win some maps. So, we go to Rialto. Australia starts us off on attack. Even finding out they had a Widow, Australia still decides to go pharmacy, which I just mad respect for. I do this all the time. I play, but played a lot of fair in the past. I was like, all right, maybe I can beat this Widow, and sometimes you can, especially with that little incremental damage from Mercy and the healing as well. So, and this is another. I have to hand it out to Huss. He puts a lot of pressure on this back line, and that Widow's constantly kind of on her toes, that she's never able to just focus on that Mercy or that Pharah in the sky. And Australia gets almost 3 points out of it. They take point 1 and 2 pretty quickly. China stalls it out, pretty much until point 2, where we did see a huge Australian 3K Diva bomb.
Yeah. By CKM. Oh, not CKM, sorry. It was by a Punk.
Yeah, by Punk. A Punk bomb. Yeah, he pretty much saved point 2 there for him. China does stall it out right there in front of that gate where you're kind of pushing into 3. Yeah, it was a solid push, and I was really excited to see the Pharmacy still battle it out against the Widow. Yeah. China has an attempt to take the entire map here, but they look to be in control the most of point 1 and point 2. Australia deciding to run these dive tanks against Ryan Zarya, which you don't see a lot of because Diva melts the Zarya. Winston, he does fair against Reinhardt. He can get in and out of the swings pretty quickly. They are pretty much just getting full pushed at this point. And what messed my notes up here?
For China. So this is the case where...
Oh, yeah, they're just stopped under that bridge.
Yeah. Because Huss is just, go watch this match. Because Huss is insane on Widow. And this is coming off of a great Sombra performance. This guy, to perform like this on the world stage against probably one of the teams that people think can win it at this level, he's going to be in the league next year. There's no way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not after this performance, it's insane.
Yeah, it just pretty much stops right here at that bridge, that first bridge. And like you said, large part due to Huss, just a lot of pressure. So Australia takes their second map, giving us a game 5. Which I'm really stoked on, except for how it turned out.
The McCree came out. That's what happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is Lijiang Tower, and this is more of Protect the McCree, and they did a great job. Both maps, man. So scared of the Chinese McCree. Australia is almost forced to play the same comp. They bust out a McCree and the same thing, but it's like, dude, we're doing it, and we're doing it really well. You can't do the same thing as us, and it really pays. Crystal is on a tear.
Dude.
Yeah.
This Crystal, the whole time I was watching, I was like, this is ridiculous. This is why, I won't lie because, it's recorded on the episodes, but I was skeptical of having 4 Chinese-owned teams.
Yeah.
But then seeing these people I haven't heard much about, this is what people were talking about, and this is insane because this guy is playing multiple characters at a level that's just above and beyond.
Absolutely. But yeah, so China does take both maps. It was cool to see on map 2, and this is the first time I've seen it, was Goats versus Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Which Australia needs to figure out something to beat these Goats comps or to do something against it. But China runs an Ana instead of a Mora. And I don't see that very often because obviously you want a lot of healing up front, but the versatility of Ana is the game breaker here because she can also shoot the Pharmacy, the nades, the anti-heal grenades, very on point. It was a big change. I want to push this onto ladder into my games because everybody's like, all right, let's run Goats. It's like, all right, everybody picks a role. Yeah. And you got the guy that's like, man, I've been practicing Ana. I don't want to play Mora. She does one thing only. Yeah. It's cool to see. Cool to see a change in the meta. So.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, that Brogan can protect that on us. So the stuff you're giving up for survivability, you can adjust for a bit.
Yeah, and I will say this is the only map that I questioned the Sombra pick from Huss. I don't know if it was because of how close quarters it was. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know. It seemed like Australia was on the back foot the whole time, and an EMP was just not enough. Like you said, he a lot of time felt like he was the only one putting pressure on the team. So I don't know. Australia got beat up on.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit. Yeah. So China takes it 3-2.
Yeah, man. It was a hell of a fun watch.
This was fun games.
2 standouts who I would be surprised they're not both in the league next year is Crystal and Huss.
Yeah.
They'll definitely be there. Punk was impressive to me as well.
Yeah, good diva play. Good diva play for sure. Hopefully we get Custa in the league, right?
I think his name is Guzu, or I forgot. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's Gazoo or whatever.
Oh, with an X-U-E.
Yeah, he was the Winston tank.
He was very good. Yes, very good.
His Winston technicals were insane. Late Young is pretty good too. So we're gonna see we're gonna see a lot of these people move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really wanted to see CKM play Genji because there was a lot of hype going into this. Just not the right spot for Genji, not this meta.
Unless you're Crystal.
Yeah.
Then any meta doesn't matter.
Yep.
Because you're going to do work. You want to go ahead and hop straight to the next one then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so I mean, France group stage is where we end up next. And the two big kind of players or teams that people are looking at here are France and United Kingdom. So that's the one we're going to focus on. So for France, obviously the favorites to win here. You have Soon, you have AKM, you have Unko. These are names that everybody's familiar with. You have Poco from Philadelphia Fusion, and you have Nico from Eagle Gaming, and Ben Beast, who is an unknown, which I don't know how, but that guy's gonna get some recognition after this.
Yeah.
And then for UK, we have I guess the only person here that most people know is Boombox, and then the coach is the Philadelphia Fusion's coach, Hayes.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you have a lot of guys from British Hurricane, and then you have some from NRG, which I think most people are familiar with. And then Cruz. Cruz, known for his Lucio play for Toronto Esports.
Yep.
Shout out to the homeland.
I think, not to interrupt, but I think AKM called it out at the very beginning, and we'll get to it. He said that they are going to win 4-0. Did you hear this?
Oh, no.
Yeah, AKM said from the very beginning, he said, we're going to beat these guys 4-0. I don't know if it happens. We'll get to that at some point, but he was talking some shit.
And it's AKM, known for the blade. Known for the ways of the sword.
Yeah, dude. Put a sword in that dude's hand and he's unstoppable.
You can get work done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like we mentioned, France has most of the league current OWL players, where UK has more of the contenders composition here. But the first map we're going to move into is Oasis, and France puts their foot down here. It's kind of similar to what we saw with China in the previous group stage that we talked about. But round one here, we have on University. France gets the first cap, and they're very aggressive defending the point once they get it. There's a flip back and forth probably twice, but France is always in control, and they dominate and end up taking the round. And then we move into Gardens here, where France once again caps for the first time after UK tries to scout them first, so they give up that cap. And then Boombox here tries to carry UK because he's doing a majority of the final blows and wrapping things up. And one thing Boombox is amazing at, and this is something you'll see throughout these matches, is that his Transcendence timing for stalling is always perfect.
Yeah.
Especially one thing I'm going to pick up and I'm going to practice is when he usually saves his Transcendence for after a diva is demeched. Therefore, he can keep her alive so that she can get a new mech. And then continue the stalling in his steed once his Transcendence is done, right? Stuff like that. It's very, very well done. And then his accuracy is just insane. But yeah, outside of Boombox trying to carry UK here, he can't really do much because Ben Beast, or Ben Best, sorry. I call him Ben Beast because that's what it should be.
He is a beast, dude. He is a beast.
Yeah. We talk finishing kills. People know that Winston and Divas usually have a better time finishing kills because they can track down targets, chase them down, and they have enough combos to kind of take them out. But with Reinhardt, you have to be kind of anticipating where the damage is going to go and who to focus on, and when you should not be blocking and be swinging, right? And he does that damn near perfectly because his name is probably shown the most. I would like to see the stats on that map. Once again, France in control, they take the whole map. So we start off towards AKM's anticipated 4-0. So we're 1-0 now. Is there anything there that you want to talk about?
As you had mentioned, Boombox, insane, but Poco, which we know him, obviously, the Poco bombs from Season 1, insane. Yeah. But his Zarya is nuts. I don't know if he initially was a Zarya player. I know he practiced a lot of Diva. Mm-hmm. Dude, he farms Grav quicker than anyone I've ever seen, man. It's insane. And with these GOATS comps, Zarya is a big, bulkier damage. Get Zarya high charged. She puts a lot of pressure on the Diva and the Rhine shield and obviously the mech.
Yeah.
And he just compared to his counterpart, man, he is building Grav almost twice as fast. Not quite twice as fast, but very quickly. Where Boombox, obviously building the trans very quickly, just cannot keep up with these Zarya Gravs. It's so quick.
Yeah, man. So we move into Blizzard World, which I feel like we haven't seen Blizzard World in forever.
Yeah.
As far as the map choices. But we start off with UK on attack here. And as, no surprise, both teams use GOATs. UK here is able to cap point one after a successful counter shatter, which was an impressive play on their part from Christopher, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Not Christopher, which they kept saying. And I was kind of confused. I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, Christopher. And then, it's one thing I look at. I was like, Christopher is not a bad Rhine. He's great. He's really good. But Ben Best is just insane.
Oh, yeah,
in comparison.
absolutely.
And there's a lot of times where he beats him out here. But UK is able to cap point two in overtime after winning their final attempt on that fight. And then Christopher follows up with a huge shatter that allows them to continue through point three. But because of all the time they lost the initial capture, they only had 4 seconds remaining. That moves us to France on attack here. Both teams using goats again, which, like you mentioned, we're going to see a lot of. Ben Best cleans up kills perfectly, and France is able to cap point one, and they take that momentum from point one and continue all the way through point 2 and 3. And
it's insane.
It leaves them with like a 3+ minute time bank. So we do get a round 2 here with that additional minute being given to UK. So UK starts here on attack, and they're able to cap the first point, surprisingly, after the first fight. But then afterwards, there's a follow-up shatter. It kind of blows up their plans. So they don't get too far from the point, leading France on their follow-up to attack to cap after, they go dive comp with Sombra, and they make sure that they have 3 minutes, right? 3 minutes plus. So they're able to cap it without any issue, putting them at 2-0.
Yeah, this was really smart on France's second defense. They knew that they could probably contest point one if they wanted to. They had a couple guys down. They could probably go back in and try to fight it, but they just took the next fight. They just got everybody back into the thing. They just needed one wipe in overtime. They knew they had a lot of time. They just needed one wipe, and they got it. I see a lot of teams try to get that, get back on point and try to recontest, and then they just, it staggers them out. It's really ugly, but they were really smart here.
Yeah. And this takes us to your favorite map again, Temple of Anubis.
Yeah.
Temple of Anubis for president. UK attack here to start out. And this is where we get to see the 2 stars that we know, Soon and Poco, kind of show out. They make it very difficult for UK here to get anything done, but they are able to cap the first point in overtime, and they carry that momentum in a point to quickly cap. And that's something that we've talked about a million times, and we'll say it again. Temple of Anubis, that's your best strategy. Get point one, immediately take that momentum, get point two, because it's going to be a headache otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing is, as France turns to attack here, they choose Nano Dive, and they do the exact same thing.
It's like a mirror, man.
It's like a mirror of the exact same performance. And then we go to round 2. So in round 2, France is able to cap point one, and they almost do the same thing again. It's almost like like they do the exact same thing they did the first time. But like I said, Boombox with his quick transcendence, because he's so good at doing damage, and he always has transcendence up, it makes it difficult for you to carry out the strategy. So he's able to keep them to a little less than 1/3 tick. But then UK goes on attack, and they have no chance, because Soon is absolutely massacring them on Widow.
On the Widow, it's insane.
Multiple
the headshots. Yeah, he was a little quiet actually on his first defense. He was getting picks here and there, but man, the second time around, insane.
Yeah. This is the guy we know from the Widow Showdown.
Yeah.
Which what's funny about the competition they did, the fun games and stuff like that, is coming out of that, seeing his performance in any of those Widows, really, it just makes them more dangerous. It makes people more fearful of him.
Yeah.
Because
this guy's...
like on the stage, he's competing just on Widow alone. Like outside of everything, you take all the other elements, just Widow's play, and he's there.
Yeah, insane.
There's even a strategy that kind of focused around him on defense, where they would have Orisa put the shield up top, and he would stand up on the top rafter or arch, and just rain down death. And they were scared. They were taking the long way around. Like Cruz would wall ride from the right side of spawn all the way around to get there, just not to risk it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that someone could be that dangerous.
Oh, yeah, the UK Genji, I can't remember off the top of my head who it was. He came out of spawn twice and found himself, respawning at that point.
Exactly. Back in
Feels
spawn,
bad, man. I've been in that same boat. You're like, shit, dude, I just got out.
I just waited for this.
Yeah.
So France 3-0 now. So they definitely got the win, right? They got first place. And when Route 66, just so United Kingdom does not get 4-0'd. to make AKM right because no one wants to do that. UK, you know what's, but AKM, I think AKM's going to have another shot when the soldier changes come through.
I hope
a lot
so.
of the other soldier specialists are going to come back to the forefront.
I hope so.
But UK starts on attack here, and they cap point one fairly easily. Christopher now on Hammond, which is Hammond is really good, and it kind of made me question why they didn't use it earlier. I don't know if it's a case of where it's like, hey, now we have nothing to lose, might as well go ahead and try it out on ladder, right, kind of thing.
Sure.
See how it works out. But they probably should have used Hammond in the mix a little bit earlier because he is very proficient on it. But yeah, UK continue their momentum to cap point 2, and they're able to get a full cap with 1:30 remaining, which is impressive here considering how France was kind of controlling their momentum the whole game up to this point. France then goes on attack, and France once again has an easy time. They cruise through point 1 and 2, but on 3 they start to have some trouble, and somehow it's funny because there was only, I want to say, about 2 minutes remaining where I was like, okay, well, they have a couple fights left, but they made it seem like they had like 10 or 15 fights remaining in 2 minutes. They don't waste time with resetting at all.
Yeah. Just get right back into it.
Exactly. And they're real good at having people not fully retreat for a reset, and that allows them to have more attempts because you can still focus on pick potential, which is impressive that they're that coordinated. But we move to round 2 here, France on attack. Their whole team here is in sync, playing at the top of their game, and it shows because they're almost able to cover the whole map in overtime. They both only had about 1:20, I believe, and France got point 1. That 1:20 was burned. You're now in overtime, and they rode that all the way through damn near to point 3, which was impressive.
Yeah, that always feels bad.
Yeah. It's
like, dude, they only had 1:20. They just got the whole map.
It's like these guys just went above and beyond, and now we have to match that or lose.
Yeah.
But that being said, we move into UK attack on round 2, and France is able to full hold. So AKM was right.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, no joke. I don't even think he did he play any of these. He didn't play any of these games, did he?
Nah, man, he's young from the rafters.
Oh.
You gotta have a support system.
Yeah. Unreal.
AKM, number 1 support, right?
Yeah, just talking shit from the sidelines. How dare you?
But what we're gonna go through now is like we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we're gonna go through all the groups and kind of tell you where everybody landed.
Yeah.
So I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start. You can do United States. So for South Korea group stage, it was the first group stage we had. We had South Korea coming in first. We had Finland in second. We had Russia in third. We had Japan in fourth. Chinese Taipei in fifth, and Hong Kong in sixth.
Yeah, and for United States, we had U.S. winning the whole thing, and then Canada getting second, Brazil a close third, Norway, Austria, and Switzerland rounding out the bottom 3.
Yeah, and then Thailand group stage had us battling for that second spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
China obviously dominant, kind of expected to win. They took first, but then that Australia, Denmark, Sweden spread. We had Australia taking second, Denmark in third, Sweden in fourth, and then Thailand and Spain rounding out the bottom here.
Yep. And for our last one, we just talked about France and the United Kingdom, both going into the last game undefeated. France did win, obviously, getting first, the UK taking second, the Netherlands not close. Not close.
Not really.
Far behind. Yeah, I think Germany actually the only ones to take maps off France. So hats off to them. Yeah, Netherlands taking third, Germany fourth, Italy fifth, and Poland 4 and 18, sixth.
And as we wait for BlizzCon, we have a bracket.
Do you want to do a little predictions real quick? Can we read them off for you? You want to do a little gambling, little wager maybe?
Yeah, Ryan? Let's go ahead and put some
okay.
Let's do it.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah.
France and Canada.
Canada. Because we have to. Like, I have no choice.
All right, that's one beer.
One beer. Okay.
That's one beer. All right. China, Finland.
China. Oh wait.
You're taking China, huh? I get to pick first on this one. I'm picking Finland.
Okay, Finland.
Okay. All right, your pick on this one.
China.
United States.
Okay,
United Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, United States.
Yeah, this one I just lose on this one.
Yeah, the way France did it, I don't know.
All right. Oh, this sucks. I get to pick on this one. South Korea, Australia. I feel like I'm like a turncoat. Yeah. Like South Korea is gonna win. I'm gonna go Australia.
You're gonna go Australia?
Yeah, I got huge nuts.
In what world?
Yeah, not this one.
South Korea losing the quarterfinals.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to hire hitmen I shouldn't say this aloud.
on camera. It's been recorded.
Yeah.
You now can.
But yeah, I'm gonna take Australia on this one.
Okay.
You're getting a whole bunch of beers out of this. I feel like.
Dude.
That's our quarterfinals. That's what we're looking forward to.
This is an insane brand, dude. I hope we don't lose to France. France could upset the hell out of us.
Oh, this is gonna be.
Especially
XQC is gonna be so upset when this happens.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, he's French Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
Tell by the fact that we understand nothing he says.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all fucking gibberish.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I'm excited. Well, we got a couple weeks, man. November 1st, I think, is when we kick off. I'm going to double check World Cup. I think it's November 1st is when we kick off BlizzCon.
So the inevitable question came up of what are we going to do in that time frame?
Yeah.
There's no contenders, right? At the moment.
Yeah, no contenders.
So what we'll probably do is we'll probably go back and revisit the last contender finals, the last season. Since because of Worlds happening, we missed a couple of those finals matches that we might want to talk about. Especially that we're seeing all these performances from contender players in Worlds that are going above and beyond and definitely leading towards some of these guys getting in the league, stepping up to the next level. So, we're going to chat about it. We'll figure it out. No specifics at the moment. But we'll get you guys some content. No more than 2 week wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
In between, and then we'll be primed and ready for BlizzCon.
Yeah, November 2nd, I'm sorry, not 1st.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, 2:15 on November 2nd. It's Friday.
We might even have episodes where we just kind of go over some news, go over some rumors. We'll have a rumor episode. That could be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something different there. But we'll keep you guys up to date. So as always, reach out to us. Email us at thebirdwatcherspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Join the competitive Reddit. Come chat with us. Mess with us. It's funny. I was on the competitive Reddit forums. Guy who listens to the podcast, I commented on something about the Atlanta team, about how hype I am. And he also lives in Atlanta. And he said that he wanted to bet winner or something. I forgot what the bet was, but one of us is going to owe the other a beer, depending on what happens. Oh, yeah. We're supposed to 1v1 on an upcoming date.
Oh, nice.
And I think he's going to beat the hell out of me because he's
like a
Masters.
fight?
Yeah, he's like Grandmasters, some Masters, some stupid shit like that. So,
not like a real fight.
Not real life.
No.
I think I might have an advantage there. Maybe.
Yeah.
But no, in the game. And I was like,
okay.
it looks like I'm just going to owe you a beer, man, but it'll be good.
You should make it best of 3. So you got the game,
you
got a real life fight, and then like ping pong for the third.
And then ping pong for the third.
Yeah.
Just
something
to even it out.
Meet in the middle, yeah. Wait, he could be just a giant dude and beat you in all 3.
Listen, it's the South.
Yeah.
There's some big boys here.
Yeah, no joke.
So another fun episode, man. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It's over. I mean, that felt. The group stage has always been a thing of contention as far as how it should be handled, how long it takes, how kind of disjointed it feels, especially with contenders going on. How did you like the group experience here?
Yeah, it was good. It's something to look forward to every weekend. I liked it. Some of the teams obviously not very good, but you're gonna have that.
The next question is, when the hell are these jerseys going on sale?
I don't know. Speaking of, not a big fan. These jerseys could have been so much better.
Oh, these are just the group jerseys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are
nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, it's just a bunch of typical stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I figure next year, maybe next year, will be where they
get
take
some graphic designers. I don't know.
Because they already talked about all the jerseys are being redesigned.
Oh, are they?
For next year, yes.
Good.
That came out early this year, where a lot of teams are redesigning their logos and the placement, and they won't be kind of one template style.
Yeah, that's what it is now.
So that should be huge, especially with the other teams coming in. That should introduce some new, and that should bleed into Worlds for next year. Because it's funny, we had the World Cup, Soccer World Cup this year, and the jerseys were off the chain. Like, all the jerseys were different, all the designs were cool, the color schemes were great, and that's something that I think they should adopt. Because
these were a little plain Jane, right? Just real safe. I want to see something crazy.
And the other part of it I would like to see is that I wish they would sell the group stage jerseys for everyone, even if they're less quality or they're not as well done. Is the case because there's a lot of teams where people just love their country, right? They want They want to support the country regardless if they make it out of group stage or not. So that should be an option. In my mind.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thanks as always. You guys have a good one.
We'll catch you later.
I have destroyed more of your kind than I can count.
You weren't giving those guns to toss them around like trash.
I don't take lessons from you.
Try not to get us killed out there.
I heard there's a nice reward for bringing you fellas in.
Maybe we could work something out, mate?